It was a grand vision, a bold step never taken before. The nation's largest archdiocese teaming with a major death care company to build and operate mortuaries in Catholic cemeteries. What better time to take that bold step than at the start of a new millennium? What better place to try it than Los Angeles? And who better to team with than an almost century-old company, strongly rooted in the deeply Catholic New Orleans?
There was only one diocese that had a mortuary, and it owned and operated a mortuary in the United States, and that's Denver. So what we were doing was very different. We wanted to look for ways to provide additional services to people. There's a very important aspect of the funeral process, the preparation, and dealing more extensively with families in grief. And how we were going to accomplish that sparked the idea of, well, maybe we should have somebody try to enter into a relationship with somebody who knows what it is that they're doing, how to run the organization.
With 11 cemeteries doing 11,000 interments per year, the Archdiocese needed a partner with the resources and experience to help bring their vision to reality.
We couldn't take an approach necessarily of, okay, well, let's just try it here at this one location and see how that works. We had to approach it from a grand scheme, in a sense. So we needed an organization that would have the resources to bring to bear on what we wanted to accomplish.
Stewart Enterprises was invited to make a proposal, and I was asked to help our company, Stewart Enterprises, make that initial presentation. We spoke to various representatives of the Archdiocese, understood the quality of the firms that they wanted to create, designed buildings that we knew would accommodate the families well, and began making plans to build these beautiful facilities.
We went through a process of due diligence. They weren't the only ones we looked at. They weren't the only ones that we studied. But Stewart was the one, by our due diligence, by our analysis at that time, that seemed to be the most qualified, and the ones that, in terms of their responsiveness, that would be most sensitive to what our special needs and unique needs and requirements are.
Some in the church had doubts about the Archdiocese vision. Bishop Gabino Zavala talks about those concerns.
Initially, part of the concern was from many of the priests who were concerned about the small family-owned mortuaries and whether this was going to have an adverse effect on the family-owned mortuaries that have done a lot for their parishes, especially in the inner city. You know, they with calendars and with the printing of tickets for fiestas and with helping people during time of bereavement who did not have funds, and working with our parishes. And so this was a big concern. And so one of the things that we had to do was to talk to all the constituents, all the people that were affected in one way or another, to try to identify the issues, to then look for ways to address them in some way. So I think that was part of the process.
Today, with 5 mortuaries in operation and a 6th on the way, the benefits of this alliance are evident to all.
They have competent personnel who are well versed in our traditions. They are very flexible with people in trying to help people. They do such things as even though Calvary Cemetery has a mortuary, but maybe their plot is in Resurrection Cemetery, and they're able to facilitate the services in one place and then moving the body over for burial at the other cemetery. So they're willing to work with our parishes and work with the people, and they're knowledgeable people who are very compassionate and concerned, and I think that makes all the difference.
It's been a very successful venture for both of us, for both the Archdiocese and for Stewart Enterprises. I think that we brought a lot to the Catholic cemeteries. We brought some energy, and I think with these buildings that we've built, we've upgraded the look. I think it's been a very good relationship.
Initially, families came to us because we were here. And now 5 years later, sometimes it's their second death in their family, or they've been recommended by a neighbor, a parishioner, a community leader. So I'm really proud of that.
We've gained acceptance by the community, by the clergy, by good Catholics throughout the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. We're proud to serve and to represent the Archdiocese in this partnership with our company.
A major benefit of the mortuaries is that they have opened a new avenue for ministry to the disenfranchised.
I would estimate that well over 50%, and this is a conservative estimate, 50% of the people that come in to make arrangements that have not made arrangements have just fallen away from the church. They're not actively engaged in their parishes.
At times, I think we brought people back to their religion.
And of course, the mortuaries have proved invaluable in ministering to the already faithful.
Our role is mainly, I think, as old as the tradition of Christianity, because of the tradition of being with the ministry of presence with families who are in the process of losing loved ones, and of course after the fact when they have lost their loved ones. And so it's a time of vulnerability for them, and it's also a wonderful opportunity to help them reconnect or go deeper in their relationship with God.
In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus said, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." What is more appropriate, or what better fits into the gospel than being available to comfort, console, and be supportive of those who are grieving for the loss of a loved one.
The mortuaries also benefit families in a practical way. They provide a chapel, visitation rooms, a flower shop, and even a play area for children. Most importantly, a mortuary located on the cemetery grounds, with a cemetery office inside the mortuary, lets families make all their arrangements in one visit. And that makes things just a little easier during a difficult time.
One of the things that we try to do is serve our people as best we can. And we realize at a certain point in our own history that many people found the convenience of what you might call one-stop shopping, that it made it very easy for them to come to one place and have everything done.
It's so much easier for families to make all the funeral arrangements at one location.
Funerals are sometimes often like a wedding. There's the church, there's the priest, the liturgy, the florist, the reception, the food, the family in from out of town. They're surviving on very little sleep, lack of food, an enormous amount of phone calls, and it's just become so overwhelming that the convenience of having everything in one location is ideal.
Everything is here in the Catholic cemetery, the mortuary, the cemetery, the burial site, and flowers can be purchased right here. Everything is in one convenient location, so that's really an advantage to most families.
The most compelling testimony about how the mortuaries benefit families comes from Mrs. Darlene O'Connell, who lost her husband James after 55 years of marriage. She talks about her experience.
The less stops you have to make and the less people you have to come in contact with at that time, the better off you are. I think the only other experience we've ever had with death is my mother-in-law, and she's buried here in 1954, I think it was. And at that time, we had to use a mortuary off premises. Then we'd come here, and then we go back off premises again, where this time we just sat in our seats, drank our coffee, had our water, got up, walked around the room, felt very comfortable, very much at ease. So this is a great benefit to have it arranged like this.
Mrs. O'Connell also illustrates how the mortuaries provide an avenue to assist families who have drifted away from the church.
At the time we bought the lots, we were very devoted Catholics. And then over the years, no explanation, no reason, we just kind of drifted. And, we still believe. We have the love of the Lord, and we believe in God and all that, and the Holy Spirit. And I thought I was going to be very uncomfortable thinking, they'll know I haven't been to communion in 20 years. They're going to read it on my face. But nobody asked me, when did you go to church last? No personal, no religion was actually mentioned. But I think this being a religious run, if that's the word for it, organization, you feel the peace, you feel the spirit, and it was uplifting. I didn't realize how important believing really is.
With the mortuaries now serving 3,200 families a year, all agree the vision of building mortuaries on Catholic cemeteries was a good one. It's a vision they recommend to any diocese seeking a way to extend its service to the dead and the grieving.
I would certainly say it would be a marvelous way for any diocese or archdiocese to go and to consider for their growth in their overall holistic ministry to those who are grieving.
It's something where you can really improve the service that you can offer and make available to your parishioners, to the parishes, and certainly worth considering. It's worked out well for us, the cemeteries, Catholic cemeteries of the Archdiocese.
Of course, the Archdiocese of Los Angeles is extremely large, but I think our application works well in smaller dioceses too. The buildings may not be as large, the type of development might be somewhat different, but each of the dioceses throughout the country is looking to serve their families well in the Catholic tradition. Stewart Enterprises has a long history of service to Catholics. And I think that what we've learned in the last 5 years will benefit others if they choose to affiliate with our company.